All right, you ready for this? Good? All right, here we go.
Okay.
So it is show number 49, and it is July the 18th, 2018. Hopefully everyone is having a great day and is gearing up for the upcoming U.S. Open and the hard court series that runs up until the U.S. Open. I think some of the biggest tournaments are the Rogers Cup, and I think there's Cincinnati in there. Is that correct?
Yes.
For the men, and I think it's Toronto for the women. Oh my.
Toronto, don't the women, the men play Toronto also?
Montreal. Okay, yeah,
Canadian
yeah.
Open,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
call
yeah,
it
yeah,
now?
yeah, there you go. So there's hard courts tournaments upcoming. And again, we are going to ramp up for the hard court season here very soon. I think the first hard court season starts in Atlanta at being a 250 for the men, and I think there's an equal par tournament that start for the women. I think it's in China next week. So we have had a few days off. We finished with the Wimbledon final this past Sunday, and I know we've had a lot of comments about the Wimbledon final on both the men's and women's side, so we're going to discuss that here currently. I guess you could say that there's not really any scores to talk about.
No.
I think there was a Canadian player. I think he was a 17-year-old or 18-year-old Canadian player that shows promise that we were looking at, but did we really know enough about him to talk about it, or having seen him other than reading highlights? No at this point, but I wish that young man luck.
Yes.
From what I read, he seems like a good player. Anyway, so we're not going to start out discussing any results at all. We're going to talk about viewer comments and then a couple things at the end if we have time.
Right.
All right. So we ready to go?
Yep.
All right, so there's a few tournaments playing, yes, but none of them are hard court. I think there's a grass tournament playing. I think there's a couple of clay tournaments playing. But again, we started doing this as a run-up to Wimbledon on grass. So we did the grass tournaments and then led it to the final Grand Slam of Wimbledon. So we're going to do that for the hard courts. So we'll wait and get into results and who's looking good at this point until those tournaments start. Is that hopefully that's okay.
Yeah.
If there's a tournament that has some implications for the hard court season currently that a player's involved in that we think is primed to do well in the hard court season, I think we can talk about it then, right? So anyway, we're going to jump right into viewer comments. After our part 1 and part 2 shows of our last final show, we really had a lot of comments in a whole lot of ways. So I think this deserves this show, and that's what we're going to talk about. So if you haven't seen the part 1 and part 2 of our last show, check that out because the comments that we're going to discuss basically center around those past 2 shows. And there's a lot of people that comment and really bring some big-time facts. They bring some big-time information. They bring stuff that maybe we have not even thought about, didn't know about, or reiterated things that maybe we had wrong.
Right.
So we're going to jump right into the first viewer comment that we got within 20 minutes of doing part 2 show of the final Wimbledon show. And that was from her father. And I think his comment kind of started a whole chain of comments. Now, put this into context. By the way, if my lips are glossy, it's because I got my lips sunburnt somehow, and I had a wide brim hat on, and somehow the sun like migrated around the brim of my hat and burnt my lips. So don't laugh at my lips.
You don't want people to think you're wearing lip gloss?
Nah, man, I'm not wearing lip gloss. This is not lip gloss. I swear, it's like Carmex triple medicated, and I've had it on for like 4 days, and it's still killing me. Dang, sun's
That's why
good.
it's so important to protect yourself from the sun.
Yeah, I mean. Anyway, massive pain on the lips. So if it looks like I could like grease a butterball turkey on my lips, that's why. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Thanks for letting us know.
Just so you know, I didn't want to look like it was like my glossy lips or something. I thought it was worth mentioning, right?
Yeah. He's been through some pain.
Yeah, I've been through some like lip stuff. Anyway, we're gonna get there though. All right, so Nathan is her father, and his statement was this. And again, we were talking about how this whole thing started is that we were discussing whether Djokovic was humble or not, or can Djokovic win 17 or 20 Grand Slams?
Or does he have more fans?
Or
Or does he have less fans?
Or does he have more fans than
or
the
less
other?
fans?
Or
Yes.
less fans?
Yes.
So this ball started rolling, and so her dad coughs up this shot down the line and says, "Quote: Djokovic got another one." Okay, kind of like that said, because I know him. He's a Spanish tough athlete, soccer player, tennis player. He's a tough guy. So he's like, man, I didn't hear him say this, but I can feel it when he writes because I know him. Right? Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
I mean, he's your dad, right?
Yes.
So he can be a real tough customer.
He was nice too.
Yeah, so he was nice. I think, yeah.
Him and I are in the same brainwave as far as Djokovic.
Yeah, so remember that Spaniards have a favoritism towards Nadal, and I mean, big Nadal fan.
Well, I'm not Spaniard. That has nothing to do with that Nadal is Spaniard.
Well, I think
nothing at all, because Federer is not Spanish, but I like him better than Djokovic.
True, good point.
So nothing to do with that.
All I'm getting at is that you guys, I guess, have an uncanny love for Nadal, and I do too.
Well, it's not that we don't like people that complain, that whine, that make excuses, that are arrogant, that are conceited, that, you know, it's just Nadal doesn't have any of those traits.
So Rajesh, and there was a couple other people here that we're going to discuss that have been hardcore Djokovic fans from the get-go.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
And I'm on board with that. But the whole debate that this kind of began from was simply by trying to rationalize.
I'll be right back.
Oh, by the way, so if there's an interruption with the door, 3 of our older kids are in Florida. So our 2 youngest ones are right through this glass door. So if there's interruptions, then we're trying to keep our eye on them. So again, Nathan's comment was Djokovic got another one. He also said that, however, Federer and Nadal are more attractive, like Sampras, Agassi, McEnroe, and Connors, and that, quote, Djokovic does not have the charisma or the game that brings more fans. Let's discuss that. Let's discuss it. Let's get it out in the open, because I'm ready for this. Let's go. So
well,
tell me.
I think what he means, yeah, Djokovic won another one, yes. You know, what did he say?
He says, again, I'll reiterate, Djokovic got another one. However, Federer and Nadal are more attractive.
They are more attractive. If you look at the way they look, 1, they're more attractive. 2, they got better style. As far as their games, they're better style. Djokovic has a great game, but he does the same thing, back and forth, run, slide, forehand, run, slide, backhand, run. I mean, he kind of like gets you tired on the court. You know, when you see Federer, you see a classic, stylish guy who doesn't get mad. You see Nadal, you see a matador, a bullfighter, you know? You see this strong guy, and he's hyper, and he's, you know, and he pumps. It's just different when you see Djokovic just like in your face. Now, I don't agree with him that, yeah, Sampras, Agassi had the same thing. They were opposites, you know, just like Federer and Nadal are. They're opposites. Agassi and Sampras was the cool collective guy. Agassi was like Nadal. Connors was John McEnroe was a loudmouth. I never liked him. And Connors I never really liked either, so I don't know what to say about that. They weren't in my era. I saw bits and pieces of them.
Okay. And anything more?
No, I mean, I agree with his statement. He's not as attractive. He doesn't attract other people. Again, if one day I'm going to do a survey and I'm going to go around the streets, even people that don't play tennis, I'm going to say, do you know who Federer is? Nadal? Djokovic? And we'll see how many people know him. Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't get it.
What do you mean you don't get it?
I just don't get it. I don't get that whole take at all. I mean, I get it like 30%. I mean, I feel it.
Do you think when juniors watch tennis, whose game do you think they're more attracted to? You really think they're attracted to Djokovic's game?
Wait, no.
Or do you think they want to be like Federer and Nadal?
That's the whole point. This is the whole point of the stupidity. This is the whole point of the stupidity.
Anyway, and they got charisma. They're lovable. When you see Federer win, you want to cry with him. When you see Nadal win, you want to cry with him. I mean, Djokovic is not bad. Don't get me wrong. He won me over a little bit, you know? Don't get me wrong.
Are you done?
Sure, go ahead.
You're done?
Yeah.
Are you going to interrupt me?
No, go ahead.
You swear?
Yeah.
Because you're really good at interrupting me.
Go ahead, I'm not.
First of all, I think all that is baseless.
Okay.
Has zero base, has zero foundation. There is no cornerstone on this building. Okay? Negative. Okay, first of all, do you really think that these kids that go buy their $269 rackets unstrung that we've talked about that really aren't best for a kid to hit with in the first place, do you think the desire to go buy a $300 racket with tacks, unstrung, okay, coupled with a $30 headband, coupled with a $80 t-shirt, coupled by $60 shorts, and coupled by a $140 pair of shoes, do you think that has anything to do with what their game looks like? You said, now I quote, do you think they want their game to be...
No, definitely has nothing to do with it.
The kids, the poor kids that are succumbed to advertising and bogus marketing, in my opinion. It's all horse crap.
Is that why you have a tattoo of RF on your back?
Oh, you want to call it my Roger Federer tattoo?
I mean, he's here fighting for Djokovic, but you have a tattoo, which I would never do, put a tattoo of a tennis player. Roger Federer. When I met you, you had about 20 hats of Roger Federer. When I met you, you had the shirt, the shorts. You even gave me a book autograph.
Okay, wait a minute. Time out. Wait a minute. Hold on. I gotta check.
Again, Roger Federer is more appealing. He's a classic player. He's more human. It's harder. Maybe he has more Serbian fans.
Okay. So you interrupted me. Can I finish now?
Go ahead.
Let me finish.
But
by the way, she said when I met her. Okay? She said when I met her. That's what she just said. When I met her. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. That when I met her, I saw her for the first time, like in physical form. I saw her. She got out of her car. I got out of my car. She was over here. I was over there. There was 2 cars in between us. I was on my driver's side and she was on her driver's side. So therefore, her car was in between us. I got out of my car. I walked around behind her car, walked up to her, grabbed her up, kissed her right on the mouth. Did I not?
What does this have to do with anything?
I'm just telling you how we met. Did I not do that though?
What does this have to do with anything?
Confidence. It has to do with confidence.
Okay, but you like Roger Federer. You love Roger Federer. What am I saying? Again, I mean,
no. You interrupted me. Got me on this tangent. How we met. I just figured I just would tell them that when we met. I didn't even.
Okay, but let's go back to this comment. That my dad said this. Obviously, it's his opinion.
So we were discussing that. Do you or does anyone else? Wait a minute. You said, and I quote, when kids see players play, do they want to play or emulate their game?
They try to. I've seen quite a few players try to do Nadal's forehand, which they can't.
Whatever.
Because from what we saw, Tony Nadal said that he's late on his shots, right?
Forget this stuff. Don't interrupt.
Yes, they do try to play like that.
They are trying, these kids are trying to emulate their apparel, their shoes,
they're trying to play like
their
them
rackets.
As well.
They're trying to look like them.
They're trying to play like them as well.
They are trying to look like them.
It's tough to play like Djokovic. It's bad on the body. Well, same with Nadal. That's a tough game.
Am I wrong saying that the problem with U.S. tennis, with United States tennis, is that every player just wants to look like someone? Kind of the same argument that I have about Dimitrov in the first place. Doesn't Dimitrov just want to look like Federer?
This doesn't have to do with just the U.S. Everywhere. Again, didn't we talk about this before? Roger Federer and Nadal are more marketable. It's a fact.
Moving forward,
just like Maria Sharapova is more marketable than Serena.
I understand that, but we're talking. You just said it. We're talking marketing.
And he doesn't. No,
that's business. That's business.
Djokovic is starting to have more charisma. He said that he didn't have charisma. He's right. In the beginning of his career, he didn't have charisma, so it's tough for people to like him. Again, he has fans in Serbia, and he has fans that are maybe from the same nationality or close to it. You know, I'm sorry, but most...
What I'm gathering from her dissertation in this bogus class that I'm listening to is that she is saying if someone sells more T-shirts, more headbands, more shoes, and more marketing time on television, therefore more kids want to emulate them. That's the hypothesis that I'm gathering from her stuff, and I think it's bogus. I think that because Djokovic doesn't get hammered by...
Hey, Boris Becker came out with an article and said that even Djokovic hates the fact that people like Nadal and Federer more. He hates it, and it hurts him, and that's why sometimes he acts the way he does. He doesn't like it. He knows it, that he doesn't have as many fans.
Look.
Boris Becker, his ex-coach, said it. His ex-coach said it.
Look, look, let's not even bring up Boris. Boris, when I was a young boy, was one of my idols watching him on TV. But But from a business standpoint, or at least talking out of your rear end, I give him a 0 on a scale of 10.
He was with Djokovic. He said that most people thought he lacked that charisma.
Okay, so
Andy Murray lacks that charisma. He has no charisma, which is why he has even less fans than any of them.
So you're telling me that Boris Becker helped Djokovic a whole lot?
He didn't. That was all show.
That was marketing.
That was
So here we are talking about Roger Federer and Nadal having all these fans, and everybody.
They do, Justin. You can connect with them.
But don't you think it's marketing driven?
I think in this last match, the Wimbledon match, I connect a little bit more with Djokovic as he is a father, and I saw a softer side of him. Yes.
Look, we're beating a dead horse here. We're moving on.
Okay, well, read the next comment. You asked me, and I'm telling you.
See what I got to put up with every day? I walk up to her out of nothing. I didn't know who she was at all. Gave her a kiss. Boom! Had it locked up. Locked up. But yet, when we get on the tennis court, she's just a whole different person.
That's Sharapova and I'm Serena.
Get it, man. Dude, man, I don't even play with you.
You can't.
I don't even mess around with you.
You can't.
All right. So next up, after her father's comment, was Rahesh that came up with, "Hey, man, well, maybe not red light. I don't know Rahesh personally, but he's really been a lights out."
And I enjoy his comments. Yeah, he's very respectful.
Let's go, Rahesh.
And I admire him that he said, yes, he's also a Roger Federer fan and Nadal, but his favorite player is Djokovic, and nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. So Rahesh comes up with responding to her father. Now remember, her father's a tough customer. On the tennis court, off the tennis court, look, if the sky's blue and you tell him it's like pink and it really is pink, it's still blue. He's that type of guy.
I'm the same way too. So.
All right, yeah, she's like that for real. Okay, so he says Novak has the combination of Agassi and Sampras. What more can you ask for?
I don't see the Sampras side of him. Please explain that one to me.
To who?
To Rahesh. I don't see the Sampras side in Novak at
all.
I see the Agassi side.
Sampras was inherent serve and volleyer.
Yeah, there's none of that.
I think we see it from Djokovic about 15% of the time.
Yeah, rarely.
15%, he gets there.
Sampras was a quiet man. He was very quiet. He cried when he won or when he was going through something. He's nothing like Djokovic. Nothing.
So, I see the ground strokes off both wings. They both have the two-handed backhands. They both hit blistering forehands. They both are very quick. Return of serves are on par. So I get the Agassi. The Sampras, again, I watched Sampras as a very young boy and watched him grow up all the way through the game. Watched him in person on a couple of occasions.
There's nothing.
He hit with an 85 pro staff, standard head.
He's more like Federer, babe.
So, well, no, because I think
Federer emulates more of his game than Djokovic can ever.
Well, let's be real. Sampras attacked the net almost every point, first and second serve. Generally, if Federer began, I think, in a certain way, but began to regress toward the baseline.
Career, yeah.
He regressed toward the baseline.
Because the game has changed.
Well, I think Federer could do a little bit better if he would come to the net these last few years.
Can you come into the net after you serve against me? What will happen?
Well, here's the thing. If I come to the net with you now, I can do it. But by the time I get to the fourth or fifth game, I'm tired. But I'm 40, man. I got 5 kids.
You can't. With these guys hitting the ball hard, Djokovic, one of the best returners.
Wait a minute. Hold on. So you're going to tell me this is relevant. I'm 40 years old with 5 kids, a dog and a cat.
You didn't have them.
What are you talking about?
You didn't go through that.
She wants me to come into the net, serve, and volley for 2 hours.
What I'm saying is you cannot.
What are you talking about?
You said that in the beginning of his career, Federer came into the net. You can't do that anymore. You have people like Djokovic.
Okay, whoa. Misha Zverev does it.
And where is he?
Well, he's in the middle.
What ranking is he?
Oh, he's making
You
money.
cannot do that because you have people like Djokovic that are one of the best returners. He'll put that away. Yeah, you get a few points. It doesn't work all the time. Serve and volley is dead. I'm sorry.
See,
you can do it a few times, but a consistent serve and volleyer like Sampras was, no more in this game.
Disagree.
No more.
Disagree.
Okay, Justin.
Disagree.
Show me.
Disagree. Totally disagree.
Okay. No. That's another topic for another day.
Okay, she is telling me right now and telling all of us that serve and volleying is dead.
You can serve and volley, but you cannot be a serve and volleyer every single point. You can't do it anymore.
You can do it.
No, you can't.
Look, I get that racket technologies have changed.
You cannot. With the strengths we have these days, now with the rackets we have these days.
Look, no one said that Federer would win 20 majors. No one thought
But he's done it from the baseline, the last ones.
Okay, look, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, by the time my lifetime ends, which maybe tomorrow, but I hope not, hopefully it's about 40 years down the road.
Are there any coaches out here who are teaching the kids how to serve and volley at every point?
Me? Well, not every point.
That's what I'm saying.
I teach my boys to serve and volley.
But you cannot serve. You can pop it in like I do sometimes. I surprise you with it. But you cannot do it every single time.
But your volleys are whack anyway.
My volleys? You can't even pass me.
You can't even get to the net.
Are you kidding me?
I'm serious.
Justin, who's the one that beats you?
You don't beat me.
I'm sorry, but you cannot serve and volley every single time. You have to be smart about it. Isner picked a few points that he served and volley. You cannot. It's not. Those days are done. The game has changed. Sorry.
We're beating a dead horse here. I disagree. Not 100%, but about 80%.
If you got a ball coming at you, trust me, you're not going to come in all the time.
Look. The theory behind doing are performing a serve and volley tactic. It's not behind its demise. It's not because of it's not feasible. It's because of strings and racket technology.
Thank you. That's what I just said.
I mean, we string rackets daily. I mean,
you cannot.
We know the difference.
The person that hits every turn, they're picking. I love it when someone comes to the net and serves and volley. I love it.
Are you telling me if you could serve and volley and put it into obviously if
you have a great serve,
look, if your serve is on, I'm not talking 145 like 6'10",
you have to pick
and you're whaling serves. Who needs it? I'm talking a perfectly placed serve to give you the angle on your return that you can cut off the angle, backhand down the line. If you could do that, 75% of the time, if it was possible, I get no one. Because no one focuses it. It's like, hey, throw it in. Let's practice it this one day, this week, or this month. I try to throw it in on our boys' practice every day. Let's throw in 20 minutes of serve and volley.
You should throw it in, sprinkle it, but you cannot be a serve and volleyer.
Look, if you can do anything 75% of the time in tennis, right? Return to serve, first serve percentage, second point.
Most people can't say serve 75% of the time inside the first serve.
I'm shooting for 75% on my boys. Okay. That's what we're shooting for.
Okay, we can go to the next, because that's another subject.
I'm checking the clock because we're running out of time already, I think. All right, we're at 21 minutes, so we got like 12 minutes. We're doing pretty good.
Okay.
It's feisty today.
I'm sorry, but that to me is ridiculous. That we can have a player like Sampras, that finish, that's no longer, you can't serve and volley. That's why Federer plays from the baseline. He picks his moments to serve and volley. Yes, you can do that.
Look, I'll go ahead and tell you, if Federer would have served and volleyed more in like 7, or maybe that number is exaggerated, but 4 of the major finals he was in, I think he would have won them quicker.
I'm sure he could have done that against Nadal.
He lost to Djokovic up 2 sets to none. He lost to Tsonga at Wimbledon down 2 sets to none. He lost to Kevin Anderson down 2 sets to none this year. Where else? He lost to Safin way back in the day down 2 sets to none. He lost to, I mean, look, as he regressed towards the baseline, his winning percentage went down. How can I be wrong about that?
You are wrong, Justin.
Whatever.
Definitely. Go ahead.
Next topic. All right. Not really. Well played.
I'm just thinking of when I see tennis players and I play tennis.
All right, so we're gonna move forward after Rahesh was like, Agassi and Sampras combined. I dig about 80% of that, Rahesh. I love you though.
He's right about the Agassi part.
Love you though. Love you though, man. Love it. Not 100% on board, but real close. Then we had a colorful comment that came in, and I have to say this carefully because the comment that we had afterwards just involved some colorful language. Nothing bad. Then when I play her in single sets, believe me, I say 5 million times worse. I do. I try to make sure no one's around though, and sometimes that even abates me. So I really try not to go too far out there with the mindset that I coach and we have kids and so forth. So no big deal at all, but I think the reason that we appreciate humility, whether it's in tennis or in life, if we meet new people and they're just blaspheming off at the mouth and shooting these words out there, we're like, why do we even need this guy? We got 5 kids at home, we got the troop at the house, we're gonna eat dinner, everybody's gonna talk cool, we're gonna be happy. So when I hear kind of like really foul language, I really don't have any interest in it, but that's...
I had a few good points.
But the guy had really solid points. So I don't want to mention anything personally there because honestly I think this gentleman's comments were actually some of the best.
Yeah, and I was trying to look for
that we had. So Carla is going to read some comments here shortly, and it was on the part 1 of 2 of our last video.
Of Vlad?
Yeah, that's going to be the first comment that we read. We're going to read. Some of the comments were very long, so instead of me writing them and trying to ad-lib them and just kind of get nuggets, we're going to try to read them. So one of them was...
from Vlad Music.
So by the way, I just want to reiterate that it really doesn't matter. You can say what you want, and you can throw out expletives. It doesn't.
And again, you don't have to agree with the other person.
Yeah, and
we're not meant to all agree.
Yeah, the whole point of this is a debate. We want to hear someone punch us in the face, and we want to hear someone body slam us off the top rope. We want to have someone beat us. And the only thing that we want to reiterate is that with our 5 kids who all play the game and who venture out on their own at times, and they actually keep up with this as well. Granted, they hear worse in school, but I think the moral of the story is just keep the expletives to a minimum because I think that there's a lot of young players that actually follow this too.
Yes. And
I think it's best for them to do that. But feel free to continue to do that. It's no ill will, but at the end of the day, the person that gave some comments did bring some really, 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 really good points. He did.
Yeah, he did.
He did. Do you have him there?
I can.
I think his comments were obviously tied to, I think it was the first video about Djokovic.
Yes, his comment, he said, was he said Federer's. Let me look. Okay, he said Federer's competition for the first 10 slams he won makes you wanna. I don't even want to mention that. Djokovic won half of his slams by beating Nadal or Federer, and then there's Murray.
And he's right.
Furthermore, he held all 4 slams at the same time. I don't want to read the rest because it just gets colorful.
So the language gets colorful, but in the middle of that colorful language, there are some really good facts.
There's some good points.
And I really hope to get more of these facts from him because I really, or she, I'm not quite sure. But nonetheless, the facts were really good. He is very much correct here.
Well, then Rashesh says that Federer competed against Marco Baghdadis, Mark Philippoussis, Gonzalez. Those were the opponents Roger faced.
What about Nalbandian?
Well, my thing to you, Rashesh, is didn't he face Nalbandian? He faced Agassi. He faced Sampras. He faced Safin.
He had tough matches with Feliciano Lopez early on.
I mean, there were a lot of tough players. So for you guys to say that he won his Grand Slams because he had weaker competition, no, it's because Federer was a lot better.
Don't forget about Safin.
Safin won slams.
What about Philippoussis?
Yeah.
What about Ivanisevic?
Yeah. No, I don't know if he faced Ivanisevic, was probably retired by then, no?
Wait a minute, didn't Ivanisevic play Philippoussis in a Wimbledon final?
No, I don't remember.
Who did Ivanisevic? Did Ivanisevic win Wimbledon?
He did, but he was in Sampras era. But Sampras played against Federer a few times.
Vlad's Music Box, ringing your bell. Didn't Goran win a Wimbledon?
He won a Grand Slam.
Okay,
I don't know against who.
Vlad, need you, bro. Who did Goran beat in the Wimbledon final? Don't look it up yet.
I'm not,
because
I'm
I need your comment.
Vlad's comment.
All right, so the comment, and you read it, right? For Vlad. And again, just to reiterate that in a nugget.
Well, Vlad said, I guess thanks for the mention, but he said another fact about Djokovic. This is a fact about Djokovic. He said his most successful year on the tour was 2011, the one that is remembered as the legendary year of one's domination, with 43 winning streak matches, and 2015, even more successful than 2011. If we follow this pattern of intervals of his peak years, every 4 years, his epic year could be 2019. That's a new year. So he seems to be warming up for it now. You have a good point to anticipate big things for him in the future. You could also take into account his Master 1000 titles. 5 in 2011, 6 in 2015. How many of those could he win? He's only 2 behind Nadal. I say he can improve even more. He can actually evolve into even a greater player now if he wants to be #1 again.
What? Vlad went off right there. Let's go. What? Good job, Vlad. And Rahesh, big time stuff from you. And by the way, the gentleman in which indicated we were talking about as well with the language, feel free, man. You had a great comment too. It's just that, hey, sometimes there's
well, I couldn't say anything.
Look, hey, yeah, great job.
I understand he's not a Nadal fan, and that's no problem.
All of you guys, Vlad. Don't mention the name with the language. Hopefully, we mention it.
We have a new one, don't we?
There's
also a new commentator.
Yeah. So here it is. Here's the next one. Mark J. I got his permission to use his name. Thank you, Mark, for that. He had a big time comment which I loved, and I'm gonna give him the comment of the day today. Can you read that comment?
He says,
Mark J. Here we go.
He says, sadly, Roger was 26 and Rafa was 27 when they won their 13th Grand Slam, respectively. Nole at 31 is making up some for lost time. He'd need to have another split calendar slam like he did in 2015/16 to be in striking distance of their 17 and 20. If he's ever going to repeat it, it's probably going to have to be in the next 24 to 48 months. It can happen, but there's a reason why this only gets accomplished on average every 40, 50 years. I love his comment the best because he is right. To think that he can get close to them is going to be a tough task. Anyway, not because he's Djokovic. Anyone that has 13 Grand Slams right now, to get to 17 and 20, very tough. Even for Serena to get 24 is going to be tough.
Comment of the day, bro. Comment of the day.
So Nadal and Federer were a lot younger. I didn't know that.
Can we break down the science in that comment? And he broke down a calendar year within 2 years and like split them off and his best chances, and that was deep. I salute you, bro. Comment of the day right there.
He basically said Nola just completed his 13 as he's 31, where Federer and Nadal were younger.
It's starting to rain on me. Yeah, and the ages. I mean, he's 30.
I didn't know that.
Way to go. Let's go. You need to be my doubles partner one day, bro. Take on her and her dad. We'll win. Go. Great comment. Really good comment. Definitely loved it. All right, so the last two things the last couple of things we're going to discuss as we run out of time. Again, we have 33 minutes of a window, and I'm going to check it so I know how quickly to proceed with this. So I'm at 30 minutes. We got 3 minutes. Number one, we've had conversations about tiebreakers and should we have them in majors. Her father mentioned that there should be no tiebreaker in any of the sets, obviously, nor the fifth set unless it's in the final match. So tiebreakers all the way through Wimbledon, all the way through the French. I think the only one that has a tiebreaker in the fifth is USTA.
Yes.
So tiebreakers all the way through, and then the final match, if it goes 4 days, okay, good for the crowd that bought tickets. Do you agree or disagree?
I think that's great because then we wouldn't see a final watered down.
Let's discuss that.
This final was watered down, and we're going to go to it. That's why ratings were down, too.
Well, let's discuss that. Going to run out of time, but I think it's a great idea. No tiebreakers at all unless it's the final match, and all the slams, and if they go 4 days, then, hey, good for everybody. Two, how does Belgium, and we have kind of knocked on U.S. tennis for a while, how does Belgium, such a small country, go into, I think, the semifinals of the World Cup, have multiple tennis players that are doing very well, but yet the richest country on the planet doesn't have really much of anything going on unless you're talking about Serena Williams and what's left of Venus.
It's called this.
Is it that?
It's called
is it social media? Is it
Yes.
entitlement? Is it that we go to Belgium and parents discipline their kids harder?
Yes.
They don't have to worry about getting videotaped and sent to the DHR because your kids were too... Look, I'm not going to get into all that here, but let's discuss it. I think there is a high correlation between this and kids having these and filming their parents get mad at them when half the time... Let's be real. They should work harder.
Yes.
We'll discuss that. Comment on that. The last thing, men's ratings were down this year for Wimbledon. Women's ratings were up. More people watch the men's than the women's. Is it because of Dork's markability? And I say Dork, I mean Djokovic.
Well, they said that Serena and Kerber's rating was much higher than Venus and Muguruza last year, and that the semifinals, Nadal and Djokovic was much higher than the finals.
So let's discuss that. We've been talking about for the last 3 shows, does Djokovic have more fans or not? Or is he just not given the benefit of the huge marketing potential that, say, the Nikes have, and that maybe Izod or Head does not, and where Wilson and Babolat do?
It has a lot to do that people were predicting that Djokovic would win this year, with Anderson being in the final, in my opinion. All
right, so, hey, this was kind of a warm-up for the busy U.S. Open Hardcourt Series upcoming. We were kind of in the mood to do another show. A lot of comments. We're still here. We're going to ramp up for the hardcourt season. So, hey, if you have any facts that we missed, something you want to talk about, comment. We'll do another video. In the meantime, we may take another couple days off. We may not. Comment, let us know. Click a like below, subscribe below, and thanks so much for watching. And as always, Carla says,
adios.
Peace.